Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome everyone to the group chat brought to you by Overmarked. I'm your host Darrell, and with me as usual is Emmanuel. What's up, Emmanuel?
Hey, what's up? How's everything? How are you guys doing? It's been what? How long has it been? A week since you guys have heard the last podcast?
Yeah,
man. All of
man.
you are in good spirits. Today we actually want to go to a very, very interesting little discussion about triple science, double science, or combined science. So I feel like a lot of you guys will probably face this dilemma at the end of your Sec 2 after you've gotten hopefully good results. Okay, and you have the choice into getting into either one of these three lah. Okay, so first off, let's just first talk about the requirements to get into this little different division. So combined science is a compulsory thing. You don't need to try. You'll have to take combined science for sure. Okay, but that being said, please try your best. Do your best to at least get into double or triple science. You always want to have the options, right? You don't want to be forced into like a path that you might not like. Okay, you want to have the option. So even if you do choose combined science, make sure it is your choice and not the school like forcing you to take it. So in other words, usually you are expected to do well enough in your sciences in Sec 2. So this will entail confidently about a B3 or at least an A2, something like that, right? And then you can get your double or triple science on the way. You also probably have to do well for your math, right? Because I used to tutor Sec 2 like a few years ago, and I remember that in order to get to your stream, your ideal stream, you need to do well for both math and science. So if you're now a Sec 2 listener, please don't waste your life away. Hey, make sure you're doing it right. Put in effort for your math and sciences, and then you can choose the subject combination that you would like lah. Okay, so Darrell, maybe I'll start the discussion into making the right decision. So what are some factors to take into consideration?
Okay, for me, right, I want to preface this entire podcast by saying this. Humans are short-sighted. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, so normally if you're at Sec 2, you're only thinking about what's going to happen in Sec 3, Sec 4, and upper Sec. That is very normal. That is absolute common behavior. Okay, but if you're deciding, hey, combined science, double science, or triple science, what should I take? The best way is actually to look 2 steps ahead. That is the best advice. Okay, what do I mean by that? So if you're currently in Sec 2, I know JC sounds like a very far away place, or Poly sounds like a very far away place. But in order to make the right decision for yourself, you do need to look 2 steps ahead. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So if you're at Sec 2, and you're deciding to take double or triple science, it really depends on what you want to achieve or what you want to take in JC. So in JC, if you enter a science stream, you are going to take 3 science subjects. What does that mean? One of those science subjects is actually math itself. Okay, the other 2, it either be Chem Bio or Chem Physics. Okay, now with that being said, why is it important at Sec 2 to understand that? That's because if you're planning to take Chem Bio at JC, then you should take Chem Bio pure as a double science. If you're planning to take Chem Physics, then you should take pure Chem Physics because that will help you drastically at JC. Now, if you're planning to go to a Poly, then it does not matter as much and you should not have to take triple science because now you can focus your time more into a double science or your combined science if that's the case and score better for those 2 subjects and qualify for the course you want to enter in Poly. So everything links up in a huge train. It's not like your decision at Sec 2 is independent of what will happen later on. It all has a multiplier effect. Just to digress a bit, let's say if you hate math and you don't take A math at upper Sec, you will struggle if you are required to take H2 math in JC. So I think one way to think about this is not to be short-sighted, but to think about 2 steps ahead where you want to be. So the same thing goes like next time when you're at O-levels, or right now with our listeners, you're at O-levels, you're deciding what JC subject combination to take. You need to think 2 steps ahead of what you might want to do in university. Because university have prerequisites. That's how you decide what to take at JC. So my advice is, take into consideration your future path. Definitely the easier thing to do is to think about your interests. Whether you prefer and whether you like this subject, because liking what you study will help a huge amount. Okay. And the last thing to consider is the workload. Okay. during the Sec 2 streaming, why is there why is it necessary to score A1 to take triple science? And why above 65 or B3 then you can take double science? It's because the school has taken into consideration the amount of workload that you can handle. Triple science workload is 3 times as much as a combined science workload. So you need to be able and you need to prepare yourself for that. We'll talk about the pros and cons of each stream, but to cater your choice, you really need to think about 2 steps ahead, your interest as well as the workload that you're able to take on, because everybody's situation is different. Okay, Emmanuel, for you, is there any other factors that students should take note of when choosing their streams?
I feel that you need to play to your strengths. So when you are in Sec 2, right, if you are good in sciences, right, try to max out the sciences. 6 subjects, right, they are counted in your L and R5. So if you are very, very science inclined, then play to your strengths. Take double math, triple science, and then go and do your contrasting English and one other subject. And then just keep it lean, keep it mean, but make sure you get try your best to get all A's for your O-level stuff. And so that's how you actually in that sense play the system, because you're doing what suits you best, right? To optimize for the ultimate L1 R5, which is the decision, or rather which gives you the decision to choose which school you want to go to in the future. On the other hand, if you are weaker in the sciences and the math, then spend more time and try to take fewer of those science subjects. So maybe you can really take combined science, which is just considered as one subject in O levels, and then spend more time on the subjects that you are stronger at, like history or I don't know, literature, that kind of thing, right? And then make sure you polish your skills for the subjects that you're optimizing for. So that should be another main consideration, because at the end of the day, it is a strategy that you have to eventually decide on, as to how are you going to plan your L1 R5, or how are you going to optimize for the best L1 R5 so that you can choose whatever you want after you graduate. So I think we've covered quite extensively on certain factors that you must consider. So maybe now we'll dive into the next section of our discussion. So we actually want to figure out for you, right, how to make a better choice as to which of the 2 out of the 3 sciences you should take. Okay, I think both of us are quite biased here, okay? Both of us are definitely 100% biased here. But we try to give some contrasting opinions nonetheless. So it's always been a very big debate. Physics, chem, or bio. You cannot take physics and bio. There's no, I don't think any school allows physics and bio, because you can't do both of them in JC together. You need to have physics chem or chem bio. And both of us are physics teachers. So take what we say with a pinch of salt. Okay, but in my honest opinion, I feel that physics is definitely something that opens more paths for you in the future. So very biased opinion, but you can still go to medicine even if you take physics chem instead of bio. So that's what I feel, and I think a lot of people would hate on this, but that's why I would say that physics is, from a utility standpoint, definitely better to consider. But you shouldn't take physics if you are much, much, much stronger at bio and you are weak at physics. Then you should play to your strengths, right? If you know you're never going to take physics in JC or in uni, and you're very strong in bio, then of course go and take bio, play to your strengths. Okay, but if you're talking about, let's say you're equally strong in all 3 of the sciences, you obviously have to take chem. You have no choice. You have to take chem. Then I would say that you should take physics, especially if you're good in math also, right? Then it is a lot less work, in my opinion, than taking bio, right? Don't you agree with that, Darrell?
Okay. To preface this, right, I was triple science, so I can give you at least a safe answer at O levels how it is. Okay. I'll frame it this way. If you are interested in bio and you plan to enter a bio field, be it research, life sciences, or medicine, then it helps a lot to take bio, because you are learning about human anatomy, about cells, and that translates very well into the future. So if you have a special interest in bio, go for it, because you're going to be amazed about what you're going to learn. Okay, but like what Emmanuel said, physics a bit more general, because most of the engineering related stuff, be it aerospace, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, which are the more common ones that you hear out there, those kind of courses requires a good deal of physics. So in that sense, we can say physics is more broad and more applicable to more situations in the future. But bio itself is definitely very interesting and something you should consider if you are really interested in it. So play to your strength, as what Emmanuel said. At O levels itself, did I enjoy physics more or bio more? I enjoyed bio more, but I did better. I mean, I got A1 for both lah. But as I move on to JC, right, I decided to go with physics because of the implications of H2 bio. So for that, I suggest you listen to our podcast on mastering biology, where I talk to Singwei about the difference between O-level bio and A-level bio. Okay, Emmanuel, what I want to get into, right, is the pros and cons of each stream. So why should someone take combined science, and what's the cons about it? What are the pros and cons of double science and pros and cons of triple science? Maybe we can do that really briefly for those listeners out there that are a bit undecided on which stream they should enter.
I'd say the pros for physics, pure, or rather all the pure sciences, is that you have 3 different subjects. That means, like, if you just study bio alone, right, it's already one subject, as opposed to combined science, where you have to study both physics and chem, or chem and bio, and that is only considered as one. Like, okay, I don't know whether I'm making this clear enough, but let's say you take double pure science, right? Let's say you take physics and chem. That counts as 2 subjects in your L1 R5. Whereas if you take combined science, right, it's only considered as one subject. So personally, I would say try to go for double science at least, because then it makes the workload more worthwhile for you. I would say that combined science students learn about 75% of the content. Okay, of course, it's definitely easier to do well for combined science because the questions are simpler, but content-wise, you have about 70 to 75% of the workload of a normal pure science. So if you think about it, right, which one gives you the most effort to reward ratio? I would say it's the pure sciences. So that is one of the biggest pros of taking pure science. Okay, this in itself can also be a con, right? Because if you think about it, it's very, very rigorous also, right? For one pure science, you have the 25% or 30% more content in that sense, and the questions are much more difficult. So if you are somebody who you're already struggling to grasp and do well in the concepts, then of course, pure science would pose a much greater difficulty as compared to combined science for you. So that would be the con. I would say that would be the con. In terms of the broad overall picture, right? If you know that the path for you is JC or engineering or something in particular to do with the sciences like bio, like Singwei, if you want to do something like what she's doing, then you should definitely take a pure science instead of a combined science. It'll give you a much stronger foundation. And when you go to JC, right, you will not be struggling to catch up. Okay, personally, I have a few students who came to me for JC physics, and they are combined science background. So when I teach them, right, I have to be very, very I have to be very slow in that sense, because unlike the rest of the class, right, they haven't gone through certain concepts, and it really shows. Like, they are a lot weaker in certain particular topics. Like, for example, they don't learn electromagnetic induction, and for electromagnetism, they are not tested so in depth onto like how to draw field lines for 2 different current carrying conductors, something like that, some very niche things they just lack out on. And then for pressure, entirely they don't learn pressure in liquids, right? So when everyone else, right, goes to JC and they're taking H2 sciences, which is like the pure version in JC, then they are left behind in that sense. Okay, they are left behind because they haven't learned this concept, and so they really have to take like a lot more extra like work to catch up in JC as compared to someone who has gotten pure science settled in O levels. So that is another massive con for being in combined science, and a massive pro in being in pure sciences in O levels. Yeah, but definitely that's not to discourage anyone who's already set for the O levels and is now in JC having done your combined science. It's still definitely possible to get an A lah. Like, just put in extra work lor. Like, make up for that lost time. Just grind it out lah. No choice. Okay, I think now we will move on to the next section, which is our own personal experience doing the sciences. So both of us, Darrell and I, are actually, we both have done triple science. Now, my personal experience is I love physics. I hate chem. I hate bio. So I'm very, very biased. And I always make a lot of jokes to my students. Please don't take it seriously. But I always say there's only one real science, which is physics. Because the other 2 sciences actually come as a consequence of physics. Like, if you think about chemistry, right? Chemistry's foundations are, if you go and study very, very deeply into it, why are certain things the way they are? It's the fundamental explanation is physics. Same thing if you go to bio and you break it down all the way into the smallest terms, you'll know that everything is physics. And so an extension of physics is chem and then bio, right? So you know who's the real science here, lah. Okay, I'm just kidding about that. But my personal experience was physics is intuitive for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. It made me really understand the world in a more structured way. And like if you all are popular, I mean if you all are following the popular like meme culture with like Elon Musk and that kind of thing, you also see that he always talks about first principles, right? And all the brightest individuals are always actually derive like all of their great theories and everything from physics. And of course, if you dive down one level deeper, right, I feel the most superior intellect is abstract math, right? So math before physics, before the rest of the sciences. So I feel that my personal experience is, it's a beauty to understand physics. Physics is my favorite science, and I feel that it is the only science that really made the most sense to me throughout my schooling years. Like, and everything you can really break it down to a level where you can visualize and understand it. Whereas for the other sciences, for me, I didn't really like them because you can't visualize and you can't understand why certain things are the way they are. For example, like chemistry, like qualitative analysis. I hated that. Like, why is it blue? Like, why is copper blue? Why? Tell me, come, how to explain this? Right? You literally can't explain that. And even if you consider like physics, like current of electricity, things that people cannot visualize, right? You can at least try to understand it from a different perspective. It's not just pure memory, right? There's still something that you can visualize even. Like, for example, you can say that I can't see the charges, but you can visualize that if you look at it from a very microscopic view, there are electrons moving inside a wire. And that makes a lot of sense, right? But if you think of why is copper blue, then I also don't know how to answer you. I said, bro, it is what it is, right? You know what I mean? I can't give you a solid, concrete answer. So my perspective is physics is the best science. Okay, and the other two, I mean, okay lah, they are essential lah. You can't do without them. You just have to do your best and deal with it. Okay, but my personal experience, physics is the best. The other two subjects gave me a bit more challenges during my schooling years. But yeah, I would say that this is most exciting science for me lah. How about you, Darrell? I think you said you prefer bio, is it too?
You're so freaking biased. I love it. Oh my god. But then again, but you're a physics tutor lah. I can relate to that. Okay, for me, I took triple science. Actually, I enjoyed bio more than physics, as I have shared earlier. Okay, here's the truth. O-level bio is very fun because you learn about human body, you learn about homeostasis, you learn about human eye. It's so fascinating on so many levels. Okay, but you need to take note that if you choose to take double science chem bio, the consequence is that you have to choose, I mean, assuming I go to science stream in JC, you have to choose bio and chem again. And bio at JC level is very different. It's very molecular. So you need to prepare yourself for that. You need to keep that in mind, which is something that nobody will tell you. We will tell you because we have been through that ourselves, but you need to be aware of that fact because you might die in JC bio because it is that torturous. Okay, but putting all things into perspective, I would say that physics is easier to learn. Bio is more content heavy. Chemistry, I would say, is like you have no choice, so just do it. Okay, some things in chemistry cannot explain, but a lot of the things can be explained if you ask the right person the right question. Okay, all things considered, right? For my personal experience at O level itself, something you want to note is that if you are taking triple science, okay, like you are taking physics, bio, and chem, you need to understand that compared to somebody taking physics chem or biochem, they have a lot more time to focus on those two subjects. So if you are currently considering triple science or if you are taking triple science, you really need to dedicate more time and you need to acknowledge that you need to put in more work compared to your counterparts. Okay, so I have one last tidbit that I wanted to share, which is something that's very underrated. I teach a lot of combined science students and I have my own combined science crash course for chem physics. Something that's very underrated is that if you're not planning to enter JC science stream, which means you're planning to go art stream, or you're planning to go poly, right? Combined science is actually a secret weapon. Why? It's because the students that tend to do better at science are all in your pure sciences, which means your competitors and your bell curve at combined science level is going to be a lot easier. So not only the content's easier, the competitors are also not as difficult as who you will face at pure science. So this is only on the advice if you are not planning to take science in JC, which means you're planning to take your humanities, or if you're planning to go to a poly, then combined science might make a lot more sense, which is Emmanuel talked about the workload ratio. But this is something else that I wish to add, which is it's a lot easier to score A1 for combined science. Okay, but that being said, I think we've moved past that phase. Let's talk about the dilemma of the week. Let's say, Zun, you are at the A2 range at Sec 2 streaming. Should somebody choose double science or triple science? Emmanuel, what's your take on it?
Sorry, can you repeat that? If you're what again?
So let's say the streaming criteria is you need to hit A2 to enter triple science. So this person has hit A2. So the person can now choose, hey, do I want to go double science or triple science? What would you recommend them?
Easy double science. Just do double science. That's my opinion. Okay, because at the end of the day, right, only two subjects, okay, you only need those two in your O levels. Let's say, imagine you're taking double math. Yeah, right. Yeah, you definitely have to take A math if you want to take pure sciences. So you're taking E math, A math, you're taking the two sciences, you're taking your English as well. You cannot take another last science for your L1 R5. You need it to be a contrasting subject. So I would suggest that you just pick the two sciences that you are more comfortable with and you can score better with. Then after that, the other subject is whatever choice that you want. And when you choose double pure science, right, you have more time to focus on the two sciences instead of focusing on the three pure sciences. And the workload is more manageable. It ensures, right, that you have a better fighting chance if you ration your time right. As compared to like stretching yourself out with triple science unnecessarily, like what me and Darrell has done to ourselves. That's quite a bad choice looking back. Okay, but yeah, I would suggest taking double pure sciences, especially if you know what you want to do in the future, right? So triple science is triple science, I would say, okay, personally, when I made the decision to go to triple science, the reason why I chose it was because triple science is the best class. So I'm not trying to be elitist or anything like that. It's just that the environment in the better class is usually, well, better . Okay, like the students there are more competitive, the environment is more conducive to learn, and people generally take their studies more seriously. So I really didn't choose to go to triple science because I wanted to take the three sciences. It was merely because I knew the environment would be better for me, and so I wanted to go there. So I would also say that's a valid reason for you to choose triple science. But if you're in a better school and everybody is generally like hardworking already, then just take double pure . That's my honest advice to you. Like, you should really just take double pure. Okay, unless you're in like, I don't know, like one of those naughty rowdy schools that I was from, right? And then like only the best class is the very, very nerdy, like hardcore, go and study, like that kind of school. Then you might want a better environment from there. That's what I feel. What about yourself, Darrell?
Okay, I want to put it this way. I enjoyed triple science, but triple science has sort of like it's a pros and cons thing. It's really up to the person to decide. I will recommend double science. I put it out there first. Okay, but let's discuss a little bit more about triple science. The pros, right, is that if you falter for one of the sciences, you have the backup, which means if you enjoy all three sciences, you genuinely like studying for them and you can manage, right, it's better to have that safety option, because it is a safety net. So assuming you take three science and you only score A1 for two of them, then perfect it's fine. If you score A1 for all three of them, then you're pretty insane That's good for you too. Okay, but the danger for that is that when you have three sciences, you tend to like one or two of them more. And when that happens, you tend to invest more time. Like if you're thinking which TY should I do, right? You like, for example, if I like bio more, I'll do bio more. Then I like physics, I'll do physics more. And that's when I start to neglect chemistry, for example. So that can come at a very huge cost, because when that happens, you are not investing enough time and effort into the subject that you're weaker at. So it's really a balancing act. If you want to go for triple science, you need to acknowledge from the start that you need to work harder than your peers. Double science is like this perfect niche whereby if you go to JC, you are perfectly fine because you have studied those subjects in pure before. And if you decide to do anything else, there's a lot of flexibility with double science. Okay, so I think that is not a bad option, but I want to highlight again, a reminder, you're aware that H2 bio is going to be a different game. So that's something you want to remind yourself. And if you find yourself in double science and you're struggling and you're unable to cope, should you drop to combined science? One very real question you should ask yourself is, are you cut out for JC? If you feel you're cut out for JC and that's what you want for yourself, you want to enter a science stream in JC, which I strongly encourage you to not drop it. So a lot of students after Sec 3, if they don't do well at Sec 3, they will take sort of like a qualifying exam at early Sec 4 to decide if they stay in double science or drop to combined science. If you're ever in this situation, ask yourself, do you want to go to JC? If you want, you need to put in the extra effort to brush up on your sciences. Because if you can't do well at O levels for your pure sciences, good chances you're going to struggle very, very badly in JC. So you need to have a sensing of what you're good at as well and play the game lah. Just be smart about it. Okay, so I think both our advice is double science. So if that's conclusive for you, you can go with it. But personally, I never regretted taking triple science. Okay, if there's any consolation out there for triple science students. I think that's it for our podcast. I think we gave you a pretty comprehensive breakdown of triple, double, and combined science. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us a DM or PM on Instagram or on Telegram. We're always available to chat and to give you advice. That's what we're here to do. Before we end this podcast, Emmanuel, anything you want to add?
I really hope you guys have enjoyed me and Darrell bouncing back and forth our ideas and our insights. And I really, really hope to see you guys, or rather, I hope that we are being heard by you guys for the next podcast. We're always more than happy to take your suggestions, as Darrell have said. We're trying to cater something, we're trying to cater for something valuable to you, right? Like we want to provide something for you that you are interested to hear about. So whatever it is, just DM us. Like we'll post like one of those stories where Darrell like asks, hey, what are the topics you're interested in? So please just answer there. Then at least we can create something more engaging that it is within your realm of interest. So we're more than happy to attack that for you. Hand in hand with you through your academic journey. All right, if not, thanks for tuning in. We're very, 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 very happy and thankful for your support and for making this entire Overmark dream come true. We are very, very excited to continue and keep this podcast alive. So once again, please do send in your suggestions. If not, good night. Have a good rest.
Yep. Goodbye, everyone.
It sound right, boy.